Get out!
Hello tankers and tankettes, time for a viewer replay. This has been sent in by Assassin K727, who is on the NA server. It's the STA-1 and he's top tier on Lakeville. This is a somewhat, it's got certain features in common with my most recent replay, which was a very derpy KV4 game, if you've seen that. If not, well, it was a derpy KV4 game. This is a bit derpy, but not really in the same way, because obviously KV4, lots of armour. STA-1, not so much known for its armour. So he's going to go for the middle path, which when you're a top tier medium on this particular map is not a terrible idea, or a scout or something like that, as long as you've got some firepower to back you up. But it can be a kind of a risky strategy because it depends what's coming up to meet you, basically. So you've got to play fairly smart. I'm not sure what the base view range is on this thing, but I'm going to guess it's somewhere around maybe 390, not sure. It's probably quite good. I'd have to look it up though, I don't know offhand. So he's spotted a couple of things here, including a not very fast moving KV5. That's not the best route to take, what that KV5 is doing. So he's actually, as you can see there, yeah, he's getting punished for that. Assassin's actually managed to put in 2 shots, but he's, well, first one destroyed a fence post. And, well, there's that trolled KV5 armour. But hello, yep. Talking of scouts going up the middle, Assassin's backing off rather hurriedly because, well, that was him being spotted for sure. And he takes a big hit, but then he does this. Now, I'm sure this has caught many people out, but this is a definite oops moment when you realise that you basically can't get up. Even though that is what looks like a fairly shallow slope, you can't get back up there. Once you're down in this area, you are basically stuck. So, yeah, whoopsie. It's a bit tricky because it kind of limits how much use you can be to the team. And you can see that Assassin's desperately trying to get out. He's wiggling around, he's angling his tank, he's trying different paths to see if he can actually get his way out of this sticky situation. But no, he's quite firmly stuck there. I'm not quite sure why Wargaming have made it so that once you're down there, you're stuck, because it looks like you should be able to get out. And maybe in a really light tank with like good horsepower to ton ratio, you know, like an ELC or something, maybe you could get up there, or a Hellcat, that's another. Anyway, so he decides he's going to make the best of his situation and try and snipe some of the stuff in the middle. So there's a T-32. Unfortunately, I think he hits the upper front plate both times with his 90mm gun, and it's only 218 penetration. At this distance, if he'd hit it, maybe he would have done something, but maybe not. He is, you know, 400 plus meters. He's tracked the KV5, and at this point, I would have actually tried for the KV5 turret, the cupola that's on there. It's not especially a weak spot, but you could probably pen it with this gun. However, an IS very fortuitously pulls into view, so he's able to put a shot in that instead. This isn't a great spot for sniping the middle, though. There's actually a fair amount of cover provided by the church, and he basically can't hit anything that's there. At least he knows that T-69 is going to give him fair warning of anything coming up the middle, but at the moment, unless he can get back up, there's a fairly limited amount he can do. In the city, however, it looks like it's going alright at the moment. We've got a Comet that's managed to get round behind their 2 or 3 tanks that are there, and because that T-32 forgot himself, pulled out of cover to try and shoot at the Comet, that left Assassin a window to put one in his side, basically, and that was quite a lucky shot in that it wasn't fully aimed, but it did go true, so that's nice. The valley is a much less pretty picture. It was a Nashorn and that Jagdpanzer IV, and the Nashorn is now down. Jagdpanzer IVs are not going to last against those guys. The guys in the city are... they've got a numerical advantage here, but you can see there that Black Prince is pretty badly beaten up. The Panzer Soufflé is actually going in and that's an unfortunate miss. He's actually going in as well, so it's, yeah, that Comet might be in trouble. I'm not sure the Comet's noticed because he's about to get pummeled. It looked like we were doing really well in the city, and then, yeah. Anyway, we do still have an advantage in numbers there. An SU-122 44 has pulled up though, and that T69 is just about dead at this point. Probably reloading, so yeah, he can't have had a full clip when that tank destroyer popped into view, otherwise the TD wouldn't have gotten away with that. The SU doesn't know that Assassin is there, and you look at the scores now, 8-11. It's actually, on that Comet's died, it's not looking too good now. It's 2 versus 2 in the town, and Assassin is... He's got this 122-44 to deal with as a very immediate problem, who doesn't know he's there yet, probably, but he will now. He's just pulled into auto-spotting range. Assassin gets in a good reflex shot there. Not quite sure why the 122-44 just keeps going, but he does. And Assassin is able to finish him off, which is useful, but there's still another 3 tanks. Now, the Rheinmetall has just barely scraped through in the city, 24 health. And the fact that that guy is still alive, well, watch what happens next. Because Assassin isn't on his own, he has actually got the potential of flank fire support from that Borsig. Even though there are at least 3 tanks that are going to come around the corner. It is now 2 versus 3 plus artillery, and that's an unfortunate hit, but he has enough hit points to take it. There's a very good chance that this can be pulled off, even though in terms of numbers it looks a bit dicey. I mean, the IS-6, I don't know what the IS-6 was doing. I don't know where he was aiming. The Borsig finishes off the T-29, and this 88 just went for it. Don't think that was a terribly good idea, but the 88 is now basically... he must have known that he was going to get shot in the side by the Borsig, so he just went forwards, and I think he knew he was doomed either way at that point. So, there we go. It got a bit interesting at the end there. There's still an artillery around, but we'll just speed it up a bit. If the Borsig hadn't survived with that very, very low amount of health, this could have been an entirely different story. I think Assassin could have taken that IS-6 without a problem, but the T-29 and the 88 together, I'm not sure he could have withstood that onslaught, and potentially he would have been being shot from the city by the Panzer Soufflé if it had managed to beat the Rheinmetall. You might be wondering why I'm just leaving it here. The enemy artillery is actually still alive, and well, we're going to see him. But it's... At least this artillery didn't just make a beeline for the water, which is what you'd expect an arty to do in this particular circumstance. But clearly their arty decided that, there we go, he's in town. He decided the Borsig was low enough health that he'd give it a go. So, you know, I guess kudos to that guy. And Assassin decides to take a little swim, but he's not quite fast enough. So, that was a pretty good match. I mean, it was more that lucky combination of circumstances overcoming the fact that despite Assassin getting trapped down there, that actually worked out. It's one of those weird quirks of World of Tanks and, well, life generally, that sometimes even if things appear to go wrong, sometimes that actually is quite fortuitous, even though you don't know it at the time. Although, had he been able to be a proper medium tank in that one, I don't know, he might have done a lot better, but as it was, he got top score. He got nearly 3k damage. The Borsig actually did over 3k damage with 6 kills, which was alright. He had 1200 spotting and assistance damage, and 23 shots fired, 16 pens, so not all of his shots were that well placed, but at the ranges he was having to shoot at, you can't really help it. The gun on this thing is alright, as far as I'm aware. I mean, it's basically a 90mm gun with kind of similar stats to the French 90mm. You know, it's not that different. I think it's got a slightly different pen. It's probably got different gun handling characteristics as well. But all in all, it seems like a decent gun. And the tank seems like a decent tier 8. I've not heard anyone especially praising it, but I've not heard anyone especially panning it either. So, you know, it seems okay. I don't know that that was really, that particular match was an able demonstration of all that it's capable of, but it was an interesting match all the same. So, if you enjoyed this replay, you can hit the like button, you can leave a comment below, you can subscribe to my channel, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.